Hello, my name is Tracy Goodman. I'm the Patient Services Manager for the AF Association. Today I'll be sharing a patient story with you, and I've been joined by Anne. Anne is from Hampshire, and she's kindly joined us today to share her experience of AF and also her pulse field ablation that she's had. Thank you very much, Anne, for joining us today. May I hand over to you and let you take the floor?
Right. I had a pulse field ablation back in the autumn of last year. I wasn't expecting to have a pulse field ablation, and I was admitted to overnight for a stay in hospital, and was told when I arrived at the hospital that surgery would take about 4 hours, and I was to go down in the after lunch. And all went well. I went down to surgery, and it wasn't until the next morning when I was being discharged that I was actually told that I had had pulse field ablation. There was an inkling I should have picked up on when I signed the consent form, because the doctor told me surgery would take 2 hours rather than the 4 hours I'd initially been told. So, and I wished I'd said, why am I going to be just 2 hours when I was told 4? But I didn't ask. Anyway, I was anxious about having the ablation, probably like most people would be. And I was probably most worried about the after effects, because I didn't feel too bad at the point where I had surgery. But I was worried that I was going to feel worse for quite a long time. And I was always also worried about the possibility of having another ablation. But as I say, I was told that I'd had a pulse field ablation at the point of being discharged. And I can honestly say I have virtually had no side effects at all since the ablation. Apart from needing to get over a general anaesthetic, I've had no episodes of atrial fibrillation since the ablation. I had minimal bruising, and I felt very, very good after it. So I am extremely grateful that I had access to such new technology, because I know that other people on the ward were going down for ablation on the same day and they didn't have it. And to be honest, I don't know what I was worried about before I had the surgery now, because it was such an easy process and such an easy recovery.
That sounds like a dream, Anne, doesn't it?
It was unbelievable, really, because I'd had a visual disturbance when I had atrial fibrillation, and I was worried about having more of that type of thing. But I know ablation's not a cure, but I'm optimistic that I will stay AF free for some time. I think my only regret is that I have tachybrady syndrome. And when it was diagnosed, I was advised to have a pacemaker. And the cardiologist did mention an ablation. He said, on balance, I'd be better with a pacemaker. And now I feel that I would have been better to have explored ablation first. But I don't know if the result would have been so good if I hadn't have had pulsed field.
So you said that you've had no AF episode since, so it
Yes,
sounds like it's very much successful for now,
yes.
and also minimal bruising, so you were able to recover quite quickly,
I
and
recovered really
return
quickly.
back to normal duties as much
Yes.
as you could do. Did you experience any of the side effects? You said you didn't experience many, but did you get any sort of like the indigestion, the bloating, any kind of
No, no,
migraines or anything like that? Everything
no,
was fine.
everything was fine.
And did the consultant explain that that was a result of the pulse field ablation particularly?
No, no. The thing that I find a little bit odd is that I was referred from my local hospital to a tertiary hospital. And I didn't really see a consultant. I've seen an arrhythmia nurse, but the consultant came and said it went well after surgery. Um, but they didn't, nobody's ever asked me how I got on with the pulse field, which seems a little bit odd when it's such a new thing. But no, they didn't say anything about indigestion or side effects or anything from that point of view, because I knew that quite a few people had prescribed something for indigestion, but I had none whatsoever. It was within normal limits what I had.
So was it fully explained to you what the procedure was and how they did it?
I was given a leaflet. It's hard to remember back now. Yes, the nurse in the hospital, she did go through it all pretty well. I didn't feel like they hadn't given me anything, but I'd read about it in leaflets that I was given as well. But I wasn't advised specifically about pulse field ablation. I think the only thing that I got an inkling on the ward was that they'd used a different gadget in the groin to seal to what the nurses were used to seeing. And when they took that out after 6 hours, because I wasn't allowed to move my leg for 6 hours, they told me to rest it again for a bit longer to make sure it was okay.
Wonderful. And
Yeah,
you are back up on your feet, and you've obviously on the road to recovery, and you feel great now.
yeah.
And you say without the episodes of AF, would you say that you feel a different person now?
Yes, yeah, I do. I probably feel like a weight's been lifted from me.
That's
Because it
wonderful.
was annoying. I never knew when it was going to come. You'd make arrangements and then couldn't do anything. So it is lovely to be free of AF, and I'm very, very grateful to the skill of the surgeon.
Wonderful. So if you had to recommend it to somebody, Anne, you'd say go for it.
Yes, I would absolutely. Yes. I'll try not to worry about it, particularly if you've got access to pulse field. I'd say absolutely go for it.
Okay. And any advice, what would you ask if somebody was facing that situation?
Certainly, if somebody was in my situation where they were given a pacemaker and ablation, I would question the ablation route rather than a pacemaker, because I do feel a bit now I've got a pacemaker, which I'm not sure is actually doing anything because my heart was quite strong. It was just it given to me for the AF, and if I'm going to be free for a good few years, it's a bit annoying to have a pacemaker. So I definitely question that more. And I have seen on a Facebook page where somebody said that they had the same condition and they were told it was pacemaker or ablation, but not both, as I've ended up with.
So you've listened to the advice of your consultant. They obviously will give you the best treatment option for you because nobody has the same experience of AF. Everybody's different.
Yeah,
And it's obviously worked for you. And you're a successful in recovery, shall we say. You're in
yeah.
successful recovery. Lovely. Thank you very much, Anne, for sharing your story with us today. We're very grateful.
You're welcome.